So today we are going to have another lesson in chapter 2, Human Acts and Christian Faith. So last time, kindly open your camera para naman kung pwede lang i-open ang camera, mag-open na kayo. So last time we discussed about the basic principles of the Christian moral life. And last time you've learned that a Christian moral living is solely centered on the gospel. What is gospel? It is the good news of Christ. Okay. So, and the key to understand morality, the key to understand the existence of moral principle is the human person alone, or the human being. Because we cannot understand morality without the human being, because the human being are given alone the capacity to think and to do or to desire kung ano yung iniisip niya. And we also discussed about the different characteristics of human person, where we concluded that the human person is open and must be related to each other. We are not no man is an island. Human person as a conscious being, because we are aware of what is happening to us, in us, and and around us. Human person is embodied spirit, because according to the Catholic teachings, a human person is composed of body and soul. That our body is holy. Our body comes from God. Our body is created, and it is not a prison. We are not imprisoned to our body. Our soul is not imprisoned to our body. Okay. That's why because our body is sacred. Our body, our human person also, is historical reality. We always go back to the history. And if we go back to the history, we are learning a lot. Okay, we are learning a lot. Whether the history is negative or positive. What shapes a human being, what shapes us human beings, is our historical background. Okay, is our historical background. Whether it is good or bad, it hones us. It shapes us, it forms us to be kung sino tayo ngayon. Okay, human person is also unique. Unique in the sense that we have our different capabilities or abilities, but we are totally equal. Why we are equal? Because we are sons and daughters of God by virtue of our baptism. And what makes us equal? Because the dignity that God has given us is the same dignity that He has given to all people. So whether you are sinner, you don't believe in God, you are not Catholic, or you just simply exist, we are given dignity. And what is that dignity? The dignity in becoming sons and daughters of God. Okay? So ibig sabihin nun, mahal tayo ng Diyos kahit sino ka pa. Okay, now we go to lesson 8 under chapter 2. Okay, now here, we are going to discuss, the concern of morality. Okay? And the only concern of morality is what we call human acts. Okay, human acts. Kindly read the first and the second paragraph, Miss Altea, President. De la Cruz, page 25. The first paragraph, anak. The first paragraph. Okay. So, what concerns morality? What is the concern of the morality? Human acts. What is human act? It is an act that comes from the deliberate and free exercise of freedom. Okay. So pag sinabi natin human act, ito yung ginagawa mo, yung free exercise of freedom, okay, ng tao, hindi ng hayop. Okay, ginagawa mo. Kaya nga human act. Okay, human act, sabi niya, in a wider sense, can refer to those activities by the human person alone. May alone nga dapat dyan eh. Okay, human acts are the activities of the human person alone. So what does it say us? What does it tell us? It tells us that it is the only acts or activity of the human person because human person alone can think. Human person alone can deliberately do what or exercise his freedom. His free exercise of freedom. Okay, kaya nga free exercise of freedom. Kasi tayo lang yung may control over our action. Okay, now, human acts is different from acts of man. Kindly write it down. Human acts is different from acts of man. Okay, what is the difference between human act and act of man? Human act, okay, if you would want to write it, human acts are acts performed by human being alone. They are acts performed by human being alone. Why? What is the underlying principle? Why do we say that human acts are performed by human beings alone? Because human acts comes from the deliberate and free exercise of freedom. And only human person has the capability to exercise true freedom. Animals cannot. Angels cannot. Plants cannot. Humans can. Okay, human beings can. Okay, ngayon. So, what is act of man? Okay, human acts is this. What is act of man? Act of man, okay, are shared in common by men and other animals. Ito yung action na ginagawa both ng tao at ng hayop. Can you give me an example? Kung ano ang ginagawa both ng tao at ng hayop? Ivan J. Santa Ana. Yes, Manuel. You are opening your speaker. Kumakain. Very good. Ang tao at ang hayop parehas na kumakain. Pero, saan papasok ang human act doon? Kapag ang tao, hindi niya piniling kumain. That is the exercise of and deliberate exercise of freedom. Okay? Yung animal, pag gutom, kakain yan. Tayo, kahit gutom, pwede mo pang pigilan, pero that's bad. Okay? So that's the difference. Act of man, it is shared in common by man and animals. Okay, by men and animals. So, emotion. May mga hayop that they feel they also feel emotions. We also feel emotions. Kaya nga emotion, kaya nga na-feel mo, di ba? Okay, so those are the difference of human act and act of man. Human act performed by human alone because of the deliberate and free exercise of freedom. Act of man, it is also done by animals, but they are not human acts because there is no deliberate and free exercise of freedom. That is clear. Okay, now, human acts are often differentiated from acts of man. Acts of man come from the human person but lack the constituents of human acts. Underline that. Okay, now, there are 3 constituents of human act. Kindly write it down. Kindly write it before yung deliberation sabi niya. Constituents of human act. So, there are 3 constituents of human act. Okay, we have deliberation, we have freedom, and we have voluntariness. Deliberation, freedom, voluntariness. Okay, Jamie, what is deliberation? Jamie, hindi gumagalaw si Jamie. Jethro, what is deliberation? Very good. Deliberation is that the person has the knowledge or awareness of a particular act. Okay. Meron kang awareness, you have knowledge, and you express your understanding, your knowledge in a verbal or in a non-verbal way or means. Okay, like for example, killing is evil. Killing. Okay, situation is killing. For us Catholics, killing is evil. Killing is hindi siya makakristyanong gawa. So you have the you have already applied deliberation there. The first constituents of human act. That you know and you are aware that killing is evil. That's why you say it or you o gagawin, sasabihin mo ito o ipapakita mo, i-demonstrate mo. That killing is evil. Pwedeng nagwewelga kayo dyan, pwedeng kakasuhan mo yung tao kasi nga alam mo na mali ang pagpatay. Ano? Yung pangungopya ay mali. Alam mo na mali yun. Alam mo nga kaya nga aware ka na mali yun. Kaya sasabihin mo sa classmate mo, mali yung ginagawa mo. Online class na nga, nangungopya ka pa. Imposible na 30 points, perfect mo. Okay? Perfect mo yung exam. 'Di ba? Yung mga iba na nag-excel, hindi naman perfect. So, medyo questionable tayo doon, no? So you have the knowledge or awareness of a particular act. Number 2, freedom. Kindly read Rove Shelo. What is freedom? Rove Shelo Hunyo. Page 25. Okay. So, you have the knowledge. Okay, there is a deliberation in your mind. You are aware that a particular act, that you are aware of a particular act, and freedom, you have the power to what? To control over a particular act. Okay, sabi natin, ang pangungopya ay mali. So sabi mo, mali ang mangopya. Sabi natin, that is a general principle. Cheating is evil. I always use evil kasi sa morality, evil ang ginagamit. Okay, masyado nabibigatan sa evil. Okay? Okay, so pag mag-aaral kayo ng moral tsaka morality, ethics, evil ang narinig lagi sa teacher. Okay, so if you have the knowledge of a particular act, okay, you have the power to control over an act, whether to pursue it or not. Cheating. Alam mo na mali, gagawin mo. Okay? Immoral acts. Alam mo na mali, gagawin mo. Pag nanakaw, alam mo na mali, gagawin mo. Pag chichismis, paninira sa kapwa-tao, alam mo mali, gagawin mo. Yung false accusations, akusasyon, gagawin mo. Hindi. Alam mong mali bilang isang Kristiyano. Alam mo na ayaw ng Diyos yun, pero ginagawa mo. Sumasalungat ka na sa human act. Okay, so freedom, because you have the power to control over an act, whether to do it or not. Freedom is doing or not doing a particular act. Excuse me. Next, voluntariness. What is voluntariness, Miss Hannah? La Cambra. What is voluntariness? Okay. Kanina you have the control over an act. Gagawin ko ba to o hindi? And voluntariness, voluntary comes from the Latin word voluntas, meaning will. Ano yung will sa Filipino? Kalooban. Kalooban. Okay. Ngayon, so, alam mo yung bagay, may control ka sa isang bagay. Ang tanong, ito yung, may desire ka ba na gawin ang isang bagay o hindi? This is, yung voluntariness, you are free and aware and you have the desire to act a particular circumstance. Okay. So, if we are going to apply pag-aaral, so alam mo na ang pag-aaral ay may magandang maidudulot sa buhay natin. Pangalawa, meron akong control at kaya ko na mag-aral, kaya kong i-deny lahat ng ML dyan, ng kung ano-anong ginagawa ko para makapag-aral. Because I have the freedom to study. And because you have the control to manage your time, you are going to prioritize your studies. And that is what is lacking ngayon sa panahon natin ngayon. We are not being constituted by these three constituents of human acts. We forgot that we are aware, that's basic, but we don't have control over it, and dumarating sa punto na nalilihis tayo ng landas. Okay, so sabi niya rito, ignorance. So there are three constituents of human acts. Ulitin natin. Deliberation, may knowledge ka sa bagay na yan. Number 2, freedom, meron kang control na gawin ng bagay. At voluntariness, you have the desire to do a particular act. There is a desire, there is a willingness to do a particular act. Okay. So, ignorance, fear, and violence decrease the degree of knowledge, freedom, and voluntariness in an act. Okay, in connection, the degree of goodness or evilness of an act varies directly depending on the deliberation, freedom, and voluntariness of the act, including the different modifiers of human acts. We will discuss this later. What are the different modifiers of human act? Mag-jump na tayo kaagad dito. Okay, on the score of morality, human acts can be, so there are three circumstances here. There are three things that we can identify whether our human act is good or evil. Number 1, kindly read, letter A. Kindly read, Ms. Topacio. On the score of morality, human acts can be letter A. Kindly read. Wala na. Ms. Topacio. Okay, ako na lang. Letter A, good. Human acts can be good if the acts conform to the norms of morality, law, and conscience. Later on, or next time, next meeting, we will be discussing about law and conscience. Now, human act is good, okay, if your act conforms to the norm of morality. What do we mean by this? Mabuti ang ginagawa mo, yung human act, yung tatlong bagay na meron ka, kung yung ginagawa mo ay nakakomporme o nakalinya sa batas at konsyensya. Saan? Nakalinya sa moralidad. Okay. Yung pag-aaral ng mabuti, nakalinya yan, nakakomporme yan, nakakonekta yan sa moralidad. Bakit? Kasi gumagawa ka ng tama. Pag nag-aaral ka ng mabuti, hindi ka nangongopya, hindi ka nagkokodigo, hindi ka nangbubuli, nag-aaral kang mabuti, you are doing good. That is good. Why? Because it is conformed to the law and conscience, or what we call morality. Letter B, human acts is evil. Human acts can be evil if the acts do not conform to the norms of morality. Okay, balik tayo sa pag-aaral. Yung pag-aaral ay magandang bagay, pero pag sinamahan mo ng pangungopya, sinamahan mo ng pambubuli ng kapwa mo estudyante, sinamahan mo ng pangchichismis, sinamahan mo ng katamaran, yung pag-aaral nagiging evil na siya kasi hindi mo, yung means mo, yung paraan mo, iba. Hindi mo ginagawa yung tama. Okay, number 3. Human acts can be indifferent. Indifference means, okay lang, walang pakialam. Indifferent, okay, if the acts are neither good or evil. Okay? With the possibility to be either, depending on the intention and circumstances. What do you mean by this? Rob Shelo, ang pag-inom ba ng tubig, evil or good? Good. Ang paglalakad ba, evil or good? indifferent. Ibig sabihin, neither it is good or evil. Yung paglalakad dyan, yung pagsasalita mo, yung pagsasalita itself, o pag-walk, o pagkain, they are neither good or evil. Wala sila doon. But, tandaan nyo to, with the possibility to be either, okay? Depending on the intention and circumstances. Ano ibig natin sabihin? Naglalakad ka, tapos nakakita ka ng pitaka dyan sa tabi, alam mo naman kung sinong may-ari, kinuha mo. Okay, nagiging evil na siya. Okay? O kaya, kumakain ka, indifferent ng pagkain, ibig sabihin neither good or evil, magiging evil siya kung swapang ka. Okay? Pagkakaroon ng pera, that is neither good or evil. Pero nagiging evil siya kapag greed ka. Kapag gusto mo ikaw na lang ang ikaw ang may pera. Ang pagiging matalino, that is neither good or evil. Pero nagiging evil siya kapag feeling mo ikaw na lang ang matalino at yung mga classmate mo bobo. Okay? Depending on the circumstances. Yung feeling mo ikaw lang ang sakalam. Ikaw lang ang malakas. Okay? It depends upon the circumstance. Or, it depends upon the intention. Tandaan niyo lahat ng ginagawa natin, depending on the intention. Okay, nag-aaral ka, what is your intention? Okay? Nagsasalita ako ngayon, what is my intention? Nagtuturo ako ngayon, nakikinig ka ngayon, what is our intention? Okay, our intention defines the goodness and the evilness of the act. Intention pa lang yun paano pag gagawin na natin? Halimbawa, nandito ka ngayon, pinatay mo ang camera mo, sasabihin mo sa akin, walang signal, pero ang totoo hindi. Kasi, nag-ML ka, o kaya kumakain ka pa lang, sino pag kumakain ka pa lang, you are excused. O kaya may ginagawa kang iba. O kaya ayaw mong makinig sa akin. Your intention is evil. Your intention is evil. Okay? Because what we are doing is not evil. It is good. Mabuti itong ginagawa natin. Kung nagkikismisan lang tayo ngayon dito, hindi ito mabuti. Okay, pwede na kayong mag-live. You are free to live. But we are not gossiping here. No, we are teaching and we are studying together. Okay. So those are the three important things. You have to underline those three. Underline it now. Okay? Saint Paul, according to Philippians chapter 4 verse 8, anong sabi niya? Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is good repute, if there is any excellence, and if anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things. You see, St. Paul said that. Na kung ano man yung mabuti, yung honorable, yung tama, yung puro, yung nakapagmamahal, yung mabuting standing mo, excellence, they are all worthy of praise. And dwell on these things, mga anak. Okay, huwag tayong masyadong naaapektuhan ng mundo. Pagbukas mo ng Facebook, kung ano-ano ang nakikita mo dyan, kaya naiiba yung decision mo sa buhay, yung prinsipyo mo. Pagbukas mo ng Google, kung ano-anong nakikita mo dyan, kaya naiiba yung prinsipyo mo. Kaya mamaya, kukwestiyonin mo na ang Diyos. Kukwestiyonin mo na ang kahit sinong tao. Wala ka nang pakialam. Okay? Now, we go to the modifiers of human act. Page 28. Tatapusin natin ito ngayon lahat. What are modifiers of human act? Okay. Pag sinabi nating modifier or yung changes, okay, kasi sabi natin kanina, there are three essential qualities of human act. Okay? And those essential qualities are deliberation, freedom, and voluntariness. Tandaan nyo lagi yun deliberation, freedom, and voluntariness. Ngayon, naapektuhan yung quality nung essential qualities ng human act, yung tatlo, kapag binibigyan natin ng modifiers of human act o yung mga changes. Pero hindi natin maiiwasan itong mga modifiers na to kasi parte yan ng emosyon natin. Parte yan ng buhay nating mga tao. Ano ba yung modifier of human acts? The modifier of human acts refer to those that affect the essential quality of knowledge, freedom, and voluntariness. Generally, they may increase or decrease the goodness or evilness of an act, and so with the culpability of the person. Okay, pagtatanggal natin itong tatlong limang ito, wala tayong problema sa human act natin. Lagi tayong tama. Pero, dahil hindi rin natin maiwasan yung modifier na to, yung pag-aaralan natin ngayon, kaya minsan, nag-decrease yung essential qualities ng human act natin. Hindi tayo nakapag-iisip ng tama, hindi tayo nakakamalaya, at hindi natin nagagawa ng mabuti yung ginagawa natin kasi nahahaluan natin ito. Pero hindi ko rin sinasabi na ang mga ito ay masama. Sabi niya nga, they may decrease or increase the quality or the goodness or the evilness of the act. Number 1, modifier of human act. Ignorance. Kindly read, Miss Gabriel, Jamie. Ignorance. Jamie Gabriel. Ayun. Ikaw na lang, Robshelo. Ikaw ang pinakamalakas ang internet yata. Okay. Nakapag si Madam. Okay. Ignorance. Ignorante. Ito I will discuss to you the true meaning of ignorance. Okay. So, the lack, it is the lack or absence of knowledge that ought to be present. Dapat nandyan sa utak mo yan, pero hindi mo alam. Hindi kayo aware. Hindi nyo naiintindihan. Kaya minsan sabi mo, ay hindi ako aware na wala pala si ganito. Ay hindi ako aware na bawal pala yun. Hindi ako aware na kasalanan pala yun. That is ignorance, mga anak. Okay, sabi niya dito, for example, as a Catholic, sabi niya, it is also called privative knowledge. Underline, privative knowledge or privative knowledge. Okay? Okay. Example, as a Catholic, one is expected to know that Sunday is a religious holiday of obligation. So, bakit expected na dapat niyong malaman na Sunday is holiday of obligation? Because as a Catholic, you should know that. At dapat meron na yan sa isip niyo, tinuruan na kayo about that. Imposible na hindi kayo maturuan tungkol dyan. That as a Catholic, Sunday is a religious holiday of obligation. Ignorance of this obligation is what we call privative. Okay. It is ought to be there, but it is absent. Pag hindi mo alam na ganun pala, ibig sabihin walang nagturo sa'yo. Privative knowledge yun. Dapat nandyan na yan sa'yo pero hindi mo alam. That is ignorance. Wala nakakahiya sa salitang ignorance. Kasi if you are ignorant, that means may knowledge na wala sa'yo, na meron sa iba. Tanggapin mo yun. No? Huwag tayong feeling bongga, no? Dapat if you are ignorant, anak, then accept that you are ignorant or you have a lacking knowledge of a particular thing. However, there is this type of ignorance, okay, na yung privative ignorance, it may be culpable. Ano ibig kong sabihin? Halimbawa, sabi kasi natin, ignorance of the law excuses no one. Ignorantia legis non excusa in Latin. Halimbawa, pumatay ka ng tao, Rochelo, that your ignorance is not an excuse. Pumatay ka ng tao, Rochelo, at ang batas ng bansa nating Pilipinas, ang pagpatay ay krimen. Sa tingin mo, pag sinabi mong ignorante ka, ay, hindi ko po alam na ang pagpatay pala bawal. Hindi ka ikukulong? That is not true. That privative knowledge is culpable in nature. What do I mean? Pwede kang makasuhan. Culpable, ibig sabihin masisisi. You are the culprit. Okay. Ngayon, mayroong isang kind of ignorance na hindi siya culpable. Ano yon? Ang tawag natin doon, invincible ignorance. Kindly underline. Invincible ignorance is a type of ignorance whereby the person can totally be free from culpability. Kindly underline the term culpability. It is called invincible ignorance. Halimbawa, okay, alam nyo sa Russia, merong isang tribo doon ang tawag Eskimo. Correct me if I am wrong kung Russia yon, no? Is Russia or Greece? No, is Eskimo. Yung mga Eskimo, when ang tradisyon nila, kapag namatay ang tatay at nanay nila, tatay o nanay nila, the moral thing that they are going to do is to eat their flesh. Kapag namatay si Mama mo Robiello at Eskimo ka, kakainin mo yung karne ng nanay mo. And that for them is moral and acceptable. Correct? Okay. But for us Christians, eating the flesh of a dead person is totally evil. Okay, totally evil. Ngayon, paano mo re-reconcile yon? Paano natin maipapasok ang invincible ignorance? They are not culpable, or they made no immoral act because there is the absence, okay, walang nagturo sa kanila, hindi nakarating sa kanila ang pananampalatayang Katoliko. Kaya hindi nila alam na ang pagkain ng flesh ng dead mother or father ay evil. Nagets niyo ako? Naintindihan niyo ako that ang tawag doon invincible ignorance. You are free from culpability. Pero pag kinain mo ang bangkay ng nanay mo dito sa Pilipinas, ay ang bagal ka. Okay? Because that is not being ignorant, you know your faith. Okay, number 2. Invincible ignorance. Basic example, lighter example. Anong may expect mo sa isang no read and no write na tao na tumawid sa pedestrian lane? Okay, may mga signages nakalagay. Halimbawa, nandito pala, sabi niya, what can be expected from a no read and no write indigenous man who went to town for the first time and had to cross the road in the signage, use the pedestrian lane. May signage na use the pedestrian lane. And no read and no write siya. That is not culpable. Hindi siya pwedeng sisihin. Why? Because no read and no write. Okay, that is what we call invincible ignorance. Ignorance may lessen the qualities of human act. Okay, may lessen, but it does not abolish everything. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, passion. Kindly read. Kathleen Tricia Ferrer, kindly read. What are passions? Kathleen Tricia Ferrer. What are passions? Minsan, pag natatakot tayo, minsan kapag sobra ang confidence natin, minsan kapag we are despair, or we are hopeless, we are afraid, nawawalan tayo ng lakas na gawin yung tama. Okay? Minsan kapag tinapalan na yung bunganga mo ng takot, takot ka nang mag-correct, takot ka nang magsabi ng totoo. Ito yung passions na tinatawag. Minsan kapag sobra-sobra kang umiibig, no, hindi ka na kumakain, hindi ka na nag-aaral, Robiello. Si Robiello lagi yung in-example, baka sabihin nyo na ano na siya, na-abuse na siya. Isa lang nakikita ko dyan eh. No, pag sobra-sobra kang umiibig, nakalimutan mo nang mag-aral, nakalimutan mo nang sumunod sa magulang mo, hindi na yan pag-ibig. Okay? It is already lessening, okay, the 3 constituents of human acts. It is destroying the essentiality and the truthfulness of a human act. Because yung passions mo over human act. Okay? Nangunguna yung passions. Okay? Hindi ko sinasabing mali itong mga to, mga anak. Bakit? Sapagkat nararamdaman natin lahat yan. Okay? Yung mga desire, bodily appetites, tendencies, okay? Hatred, love. Nagagalit ka minsan sa ibang tao. Na ikaw ay sorrow because namatayan ka ng mga kamag-anak o magulang. Okay, yon. So letter C, fear. Okay, yung passions, ulitin natin. They may lessen, but they may also destroy human acts. Kaya nga dapat nagdi-discern tayo. Next, fear. Though under passion, it is worth mentioning for its effect to moral act. It refers to a feeling or reaction to a danger or threat. Minsan we are afraid to express ourselves. Minsan we are afraid to correct others. Minsan we are afraid to speak up for the truth because of fear. And that lessens or sometimes may destroy the human acts. Your power to know, your power to control over an act, and your power to desire an act or to happen a particular act. Next, violence. Okay? It is an external force applied by a person to compel another to perform an act against his or her will. Violence. The best example yung tinatawag nating forced marriage. Kagabi nanonood ako ng Korean drama. Alam na pala nyo na yung Crash Landing? Sino nakapanood na ng Crash Landing dito? Korean drama. Nanonood ako kagabi. At doon sa senaryo, yung lalaki, ang promise niya ay magpapakasal siya doon sa babae. At si babae, ang mga magulang nila nag-arrange, kahit hindi na nila mahal ang isa't isa, kahit hindi na nila gusto ang isa't isa, arranged marriage na eh. Okay, there can be violence there, in a sense that you cannot choose kung sino yung gusto mong mahalin. You cannot choose. Mahirap yun. No? There is violence then kapag you are being controlled by others. Okay, you are being controlled by your emotions. You are being controlled by what is happening around. You are being controlled by what you are reading. You are being controlled by you are being bullied. That is violence. Okay? And violence is a cause for you not to perform or practice these three constituents of human acts. To deliberate, to control over an act, and to desire a particular act to happen. Okay? And the tendency is that you will fall into being evil. Hindi ko sinasabing demonyo ka. Ang sinasabi ko, yung gagawin mo, it will fall into being evil. Kasi violence, because of violence. Next, habit. Can you read Manuel Cayabyab, what is habit? Okay, habit, paulit-ulit na ginagawa. Pagmumura, paggawa ng mali, pag-cheat, pagsisira, paninira. Pag paulit-ulit mong ginagawa yan, kakainin ka ng masama. Okay, habit refers to acts developed out of repetition and which facilitates the performance of an act in a certain manner. You are already out of what is true. You are already out of these three constituents of human acts. Why? Because you have this habitual act which you cannot control. Habit is uncontrollable. And the mere fact that a particular act is uncontrollable, you already fell, okay, you already fell from, you are already bagsak, parang ganun. You are already failed from the constituents of three constituents of human act. And what is that? Freedom. You must have the control over an act. You must have the control. Why? Because you are aware. You are aware of a particular thing. That's why you have the control over an act. Huwag sige ng sige. Tama? Okay. So, the general principle, okay, although sinasabi natin itong 5 modifiers na to ay medyo parang negative, meron din silang positivity. Kaya nga sabi ko sa inyo kanina, they may increase or decrease the goodness or evilness of an act. Kayo na ang magdi-discern. Kayo nang bahalang mag-discern. Kung yung love ba makakaapekto sa sa buhay mo bilang isang moral na tao? Yun bang takot makakaapekto sa buhay moral mo bilang tao, bilang Kristiyano? Yun bang violence, yung bang negative experience, makakakontrol yan, makakakuha yan sa control mo bilang, moral mo bilang tao? Okay. Ako, personally, kahit anong sabihin ng iba sa akin, sinasabi nila masyadong maboka, sinasabi masyadong yung prangka. Well, but I can control myself. I know what to do. I know if the person is already being hurt. Or if I know the person, if she is sensitive or not. Okay? So, yun. So, this can be good, but this can contribute, but this can also contribute to ruin human acts. Okay, now, can you do the activity on page 29? B, letter B. Okay, arrange the letters to form words. I am giving you 5 to 10 minutes to do this. Excuse me for a while, may gagawin lang ako saglit mga anak. Let's continue. We will do it later. Okay, so those are the habits. Sabi ni Saint Paul sa Philippians chapter 2 verse 13, "For God is the one who, for His good purpose, works in you both to desire and to work." Okay? The general principle for passions, habit, violence states that passion can lessen but not destroy the voluntariness of the act. Okay. Pero depende pa rin talaga sa circumstance, no? Pwede kasing these passions can destroy human acts, the voluntariness of the act. Now we go to the next lesson. Authentic freedom. Okay. Authentic freedom. Dito na tayo, dito na natin iintindihin, okay, what is freedom? No? Why do we say that freedom, our understanding of freedom is different from the understanding of the moral teachings of the church. Why? Because sabi natin kasi, akala natin, our general understanding of freedom is that I do what I want to do. No one can hinder me in doing what I want to do. Oh, that is freedom for them, for some of you, no? So let us assess what do we mean by the true meaning of freedom. Okay. So kindly underline this. Page 31. Authentic freedom is doing what is good. Authentic freedom is doing what is good. Okay. So meron siyang adjective na authentic. The noun freedom has an adjective. Ano yung adjective? Adjective niya? Authentic. Okay. So not all freedom authentic. Hindi lahat ng freedom authentic. May false freedom. Mayroong falsified freedom. Mayroong worldly, earthly freedom. Your excuse, Rimzi. Okay? So for us Catholics, according to the moral teachings of the church, authentic freedom is doing what is good. What do we mean by this? It is in doing what is good and promoting the well-being of others that one becomes truly free. Evil enslaves. It damages and destroys. It is an apparent good. Singa walabat, apparent good. Singa parang totoo. Singa true. Pero hindi true. Okay? Yeah, it appears to be good, but it is not. Okay. So, authentic freedom means being free from enslaving sin. Ano yun? Di ba nung namatay ang ating Panginoong Hesukristo, na ipako sa krus, yung kanyang kamatayan, ang ating Panginoon, yung kanyang pagkakapako sa krus, yung kanyang muling pagkabuhay, ay pagpapalaya sa atin sa matagal na pagkakapreso natin sa kasalanan. Kasi nga, mga anak, ang kasalanan ay ipinipreso tayo. Ano ba yung ipinipreso? Tayo ay kinukulong sa bagay na laban sa kalooban ng Diyos. Kaya nung namatay si Kristo, okay, He already gave us the authentic freedom, the true meaning of freedom.